Well, everybody's favorite wrestling dinosaur. I'm not talking about Luchasaurus. I'm talking about the Funkasauras. Somebody call his mama. Tell him that he has retired. I'm talking about Tyrus. I know how you guys love your Tyrus so much. The former NWA World's Champion now has officially announced his retirement. And he did so on everybody's favorite channel, your favorite wrestler on your favorite channel, Fox News. Tyrus gets emotional announcing that he is retired from pro wrestling. Check out this clip.
You said if you lost this next match in your title, you're retiring from the NWA. What happened?
Well, as you can see, I'm 12 pounds lighter.
No belt?
No belt. EC3 was the better man. We fought like hell, but it was his time. And although I'm retiring from in-ring life, I'll always be a part of the NWA. Billy Corgan is, he has been a tremendous promoter and owner, and still going to be a part. Maybe help some of the young guys. Maybe steal a page out of you and the great Jim Brown. Do a little commentating.
Right.
You know. But it was. Honestly, it came down to I had wanted to keep wrestling so all my kids could see me wrestle. And wrestling for 20 years, and it opened so many doors for me. The WWE, Impact, wrestling in Japan. I was a little chubby kid who wanted to be like his heroes, Dusty Rhodes and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Haku, Andre the Giant, and I did that. I accomplished those things, and I was able to use that platform to establish myself here, to become an author, and it was just, you get to a point as an athlete where it's a subtraction by addition. You know, your career, you get to be a great wrestler, you got to go 300 days a year. You got to train, you got to do those things. The NWA is growing, and they got live events now, and they're doing all these things. And my job was to promote. And you know, I was the NWA champion. It's a small list. They can never take that away from me. And it was just time. And I talked to my family about it. My kids voted, and I said that's one last weekend that Daddy's gone, and it was unanimous.
When you went up to Snoop Dogg and said, listen, I'm going to wrestle.
Yeah.
Dude, he supported you. You were his bodyguard. And you go to the WWE twice, in and out a couple of times, then you go to the NWA.
When I was bodyguard with Snoop, I had a job for life. And he said, you're just not a guy to stand behind people. You know, go be a star. And the first time I was WWE, I didn't make TV. The second time, it was lightning in a bottle. You know, thanks to Triple H and Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Bill DeMont, Mike Rotundo, Steven Regal, Arn Anderson, and of course, Dusty Rhodes. And another thing was, sometimes in entertainment and sports, reality shows up, and I had a live event. I do stand-up comedy shows, which were selling all over the country, and those don't hurt as much as wrestling. It was I'm so thankful for my time in wrestling and how much it gave to me, and how much hearing guys say things like, man, you changed my life, because we talk about, you know, my buddy Junior Kratos, he bought his first home, you know, and it's not the wrestling where you got to stay until you can't go anymore. You were able to use that platform to build other things, to leave other doors open for other guys and gals. So it's a happy time, but these are happy tears, and it was the right decision, and it was time.
Man, you guys got to take your politics out of shit. Let's set all that aside for now, and let's just focus on what the man just said, right? What a fucking fun career this guy's had. You know, going from being a bodyguard for Snoop Dogg to having a full fucking run in the WWE. He was not a main star or a top star or anything like that, but he was an attraction to be sure. You know, he did the dancing and stuff, and he had the Funkadactyls and all that shit. Then to go on to have the post WWE career that he had, to kind of reinvent himself as Tyrus. I think he was just a bodyguard for like EC3 for a little bit in TNA or some shit. I don't know. I didn't watch, but he was there. And then fucking now how apropos, if that's how it happened in that vague mystery world that I just may or may not have actually ever happened, for him to face EC3 in his final match. Dropped the belt. He said he came back. He wanted his kids to see him wrestle. He admitted that it was his job to give exposure to NWA, like it or not, for Fox News, having Tyrus sitting there holding the NWA, what was it? What do you have? The United States title? Is that what that was? And then the NWA World title, having those over his shoulder on national TV. Gutfeld, that show has so many viewers. It had more viewers than any other fucking late night show throughout any week. So if you guys are thinking, Tyrus ain't that big of a star or whatever, I think you're sadly mistaken. He is watched by more people than even fucking Roman Reigns is on a weekly basis. How's that? Hit you in the gut, huh? So Tyrus is a big deal to have that NWA title, and he was always announced as the NWA World Champion. It was a smart move by Billy Corgan. Especially because he's trying to draw in a more old school audience, people that are into the more just rough and tumble, gritty wrestling, the guys that would actually want to see Trevor Murdoch wrestle a match. I keep burying Trevor Murdoch, poor Trevor Murdoch. I'm sure he's a nice fella, spitting his chew spit, and his beer gut. That's a world's champion if I've ever seen one, huh? Huh? Jesus Christ. Anyway, sleeves cut off his flannel. It's a man. There's a man right there. That was a tough guy. A real tough guy man right there. I'm going to buy a ticket to see that guy. Poor Billy Corgan. I like Billy Corgan. He's trying desperately to kind of... He really wants the NWA to be seen on that higher level. Man, they're not even... He needs to invest in some production value. That's the first thing. You know, he's taken a lot of offense to being deemed like a throwback promotion. Well, part of that's because he's in a dimly lit, shitty, fucking old school TV studio. He needs to get the big Trons and shit, man. You gotta have the lasers, the smoke, the pyro, the whistlers. Have those big ones that Raw used to have every week, you know, the whoosh. I can't whistle, but you get the point, you know, the rockets that would fly and blow up the stage. And the Dudleys had them too when they came out. You get the point. I think, you know, NWA to be taken seriously, they gotta look the part first. They're not even on par of a Ring of Honor. They're not on par with an Impact. Then they gotta get better talent. They got some good talent, but then they got Trevor Murdoch. And EC3, once upon a time, was a guy who I, you know, thought highly of, but not so much anymore. So, we've kind of reached a point now where the NWA needs to step it up a little bit. And, you know, EC3 is still a pretty talented guy if he can take that title and run with it and do things going forward. Tyrus was never the long-term plan, but he was the champion for a while, and it was to help get those eyeballs on the NWA. And he's still going to be a brand ambassador for the NWA. He's still going to work for the NWA, do commentary maybe, or something somewhere along the way, which is smart. Keep him with the brand, keep him on TV, plugging the brand. It's just smart business. Especially, you know, like I said, he's trying to target that wrestling audience that's not already watching the AEW stuff, you know, the older guys that have checked out. Maybe you can find them on Fox News, apparently. I don't know how that's worked out for him so far. Well, who might argue with William Patrick Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins guy, you know what I mean? Tonight, pale and shit. I used to think he was a vampire when I was a kid. Billy, he probably still is a vampire. Because, you know, he had this song, well, there's a vampire. And he was all gothic and fucking pale and shit. Smashing Pumpkins are good, man. I'm not trying to diss Billy Corgan. I just think for the money that he has to invest, I think he's slightly delusional on pro wrestling. His idea of what pro wrestling could be or is or should be. Talked about it a little bit last week with a Super Show thing. Just his choice of guys that he wants to run with, the people he's advertising to. I don't know if that's going to help bring him to be the third most prominent brand in pro wrestling. We'll see. We'll see if it pays off. Who am I to argue? Tyrus, though. I know a lot of you guys hate Tyrus because of who he affiliates with and whatnot. But again, taking your politics out of it, the guy had a really fun career. Was he a top guy? No. But he, just making it to the WWE and having a run there that was memorable for any kind. If you ask anybody if they remember the fucking Funkasauras there, I'm sure a lot of people will. He had memorable moments. And then he had a full run as an NWA world champion and helped set up a new company with Billy Corgan, of all people. It's not a bad guy to be friends with. You know what I'm saying? Fox News contributor gets crazy views over on, like I said, Gutfeld's like the top show on TV. One of. It draws more than any of the wrestling shows. It draws more than the other late night shows. Maybe not as much as like football and shit, but it's, a lot of eyeballs on that show. Tyrus on there all the time. The whole hour, talking, giving his opinion, holding the NWA world title. I like Tyrus. I think he's a decent guy. And, anybody that was a bodyguard for Snoop Dogg, I think is cool with me. It's fun. But his time has passed in the wrestling business as an active wrestler. Now it is time for him to step forward into whatever role will be next for him and NWA to try to move forward as a company with a new champion in EC3.
Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.